This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
Powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
And holy crap, just like that, we're at episode 387. That's not a streak. That's time spent. That's working nights, early mornings. That's choosing to show up when it would have been easier to not. Let's be honest, this podcast is not about comfort. It's about staying sharp. You don't get this far with a little tenacity, without competing with yesterday's version of yourself. And this week, I'm here to outdo myself. You will hear from 9 guests in this Over the Years podcast. In sports, you'll hear from someone who lives between ropes and bruises, someone who spent years inside the cage, and someone who treats speed like a second language. In entertainment, one guest can quiet a room with a sentence that you didn't even know you needed to hear. Another has spent a career turning live TV into controlled chaos, and the other has been roasting culture before culture knew it needed to be roasted. And coming up shortly in music, one guest has cathedral-sized riffs, another turned alt-rock on its head, and one brings sunshine and surf to the party. It's great to have you along. My name is Todd Hancock, and a hearty thank you to our sponsors to get things rolling this week. You know, they're the reason I can keep banging out these podcasts for you, like our title sponsor, Citywide Mortgage Services. I've been working with Citywide for years, and for a few reasons, one of them being that one of the owners is a good buddy, a guy named Dara. But beyond that, knowing that they work for you and not the banks is a big thing. Dara helped me lock in a rate last year that made my life just simple and stress-free, especially considering the market's volatility at the time. Citywide has decades of experience, over 30 lenders to choose from. So if you're buying or renewing, refinancing, even if someone has said no in the past, they can usually find a way to make it happen. The Bank of Canada dropped the key interest rate, if you didn't know that, so now's the time for you to act. Talk to Dara at citywidemortgage.ca. They're the team that I trust for my mortgage. Okay, so coming up in just a few minutes in Listen to This, Sloan singer Patrick Pentland talks about the importance of music videos and much music at the start of their career. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV service, repairs, yes, they are ICBC accredited, and they're coming up on 11-year sponsor. Literally no breaks in that time. Absolutely key for us keeping things rolling. Huge love to Tamara and her awesome crew there. Find them kicking around online from time to time. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where else? At Tedco RV Supplies. First, let's get some musical guests from over the years. They're all now powered by Parallel 49 Brewing. They've signed on for the entire year. Here's an East Van craft brew powerhouse. They've been at it since 2012. Just some buddies, basically, that love beer and wanted to get into the game. I have to say, well played, sirs. Well played. They now have dozens of beers, a super fun, lively tasting room, and of course that street kitchen with over 40 taps. Visit parallel49brewing.com for more. And I wanted to start you off with a Perfect Circle guitarist, Billy Howerdel. So Billy formed the band with Tool singer Maynard James Keenan. You'll know them, of course, for their genre-defining sound, multi-platinum albums, and sold-out world tours. So listen to Billy talk about meeting Maynard, how their friendship started, and forming the band.
I first met him, I would say, right when they were kicking off. What would that be, 1991, I think? Or so. I was, I worked for Fishbone. The guitar player, Kendall's fiance, worked at Zoo Records, and Matt Marshall, who I became friends with, he was the A&R guy that signed Tool, and, they had the cassette. They had like a demo of a few Tool songs around. So we went down to see them at Club Lingerie down in in Hollywood, and I saw them play first, and then kind of met them, and just like, hey, how you doing? Met them, and then went on tour when Tool was supporting Fishbone. So then, touring together for a long period of time, you definitely get to know everybody. So that's when I guess we started to become friends.
Yeah, no doubt. He goes touring together for a long period of time. You definitely get to know everybody. So A Perfect Circle has been nominated for Grammy Awards. Critics love them, and they have a devoted global fan base. So what, in Billy's mind, then, is his career highlight?
I had this clearly laid out the other day, and it's really tough.
Right.
I think just getting APC off the ground, it's kind of a soft target of time, but, it's just completion of the first record. I think that was just something that, I'd always wanted to do, but, as it was going on, there was so much happening with press and getting ready for opening for Nine Inch Nails, making a music video. It was really hard to kind of sit and take it in at a moment. And maybe it's good that I didn't have the time to do that, because it might start, messing with your head and everything. But, I just say completion of that first record.
Right, like think about that. He goes, as it was going on, there was so much happening with press. It's hard to not think about writing and recording the debut album of A Perfect Circle, Mare de Noms, when you're talking about career highlights. So I'll move you along from APC to K-Flay, singer, rapper, songwriter, critically acclaimed, multi-Grammy nominations. You love her feel. You love the vibe of her music, hip-hop, indie, alt-rock. So listen to K-Flay talking about creating music during the pandemic, guesting on a song by Arkells, and her friendship with Mother Mother.
Yeah, I think making music during quarantine, because I was working with a lot of folks that I had collaborated with pre-quarantine in terms of producers, we already had a rapport. I mean, like for instance, the people that I worked with on Four Letter Words, one of those producers, Tommy, we've been working on, this is our third album together. So we have already like this working relationship that was actually able to exist on Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, he's part of the team.
Exactly. So, and a lot of the songs on this EP were, all of them were with people that I knew already and had a relationship with. So I was lucky in that respect. And I've always been a very self-sufficient artist in terms of recording vocals and doing lots of things just on my own. So I was also able to really kind of take advantage of that and set up my studio and do my thing and like make these songs in this interesting manner. But with regard to the Arkells, I love those guys. We met probably, we've been talking about this a little bit just because the song came out. We met when I was out on tour with Mother Mother.
Okay.
So this would be like 4 years ago.
Vancouver
yes.
based rock band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
BC
guys
folks.
Well. Yeah.
I love Mother Mother. And I was opening for them all across Canada. We were touring like, Red Deer. Like I was like, we were out there doing it. It was my first time going to a lot of these cities and places. And I was a guest on Max's podcast, and we had a lot of mutual friends in common. I think Lights was our connecting friend.
Okay.
And our friendship just started from there. And then Max texted me like a little over a year ago being like, hey, we have this song that we're working on. You want to come to the studio? We're in LA.
It really was cool to catch up with K-Flay. She goes, I've always been a very self-sufficient artist. She's also, of course, known for her candid lyrics, her live performance. She, too, has a devoted global following. And when she was a guest, we went beyond the music as she shared a near-death story involving her childhood home.
Yeah, actually, right where I am, my parents' house, like a year and a half ago, I was visiting on tour. I was like here for a couple days in between shows. And there was a fire, and we like had to escape. It was crazy.
Wow!
In the middle of the night, yeah. A battery exploded, and I heard it explode, and I like ran into the living room, and everything was in flames.
Holy shit.
It was fucking insane. It was actually
So what did you do? What
So I went into my parents' room, and my dad had just had surgery like a day before. That's why I was visiting. And it was like, we got to get out. There's a fire.
Holy
and it started filling up the amount of smoke that happens. It's so everything's happening so quickly. It's crazy. I had never been in a fire before or anything like that. And yeah, we got out safely, and the fire department came and hosed everything down and essentially destroyed their place with water and smoke. I mean, the smoke and water did all this crazy damage, but luckily, we were all okay and we got out, but it was totally surreal. I was actually thinking about it last night. And then my parents had to live in this temporary
and everything and
apartment for a really long time. And anyway, but dude, it was fucking, I'm sorry,
scary shit.
If I can swear. It was
it's scary.
It was very scary.
That is an insane quote. And I heard it explode, and I ran to the living room, and everything was in flames. Scary stuff. How do you not panic in a moment like that? So now let me take you from K-Flay to a Grammy-nominated reggae rock band, Dirty Heads. Reggae, hip-hop, alt-rock. Throw those into a blender, and you have platinum singles, sold-out tours, festival appearances worldwide. One of their singers, Dirty J, was a guest, and he shared his first concert story.
Speaking of which, Bob Marley Day in Long Beach in 1996 or 7. It was my first concert. I don't know how old I was. Really 15 or something like that. And I got really high and sat in the back, and I think I had to leave. I just got way too high. And it was really weird because it was all dance hall, real gangster dance hall, though, Beanie Man and shit like that. And it wasn't what I thought. I was like, Bob Marley Day. We're going to go see a bunch of Roots and Israel Vibrations and all this shit. And we had gone on the wrong day. And it was all super gangster dance hall shit. And I was just oh, this sucks. And I was way too high. And I fell asleep in the back of my seat. And then, so that was kind of shitty. And then John, our percussion player, took me to go see Tool because we're both big Tool fans at Staples Center. And then I've gone, to one or other concerts with my wife, but I've actually only gone as a fan to those 4 shows.
Too funny. He goes, we'd gone on the wrong day, and it was all super gangster dance hall shit. Not exactly what he thought he was going to see. So here's another loyal fan base. Dirty Heads kind of pull you in with that sun-soaked vibe, right? The catchy hooks, killer live show as well. So what was Dirty J listening to around the time that they formed the band?
At the time, we were listening to a lot. We'd both sold weed. All of our friends had, we had white guy dreads and all that shit. And so we were that was right when we were really figuring out reggae music, real reggae music, even starting back at the Rocksteady and
sure.
Early 60s and then 70s and 80s. We went through the whole, anything, for me personally, anything past 80-ish, I don't really get it. I don't really like it. I like really old vintage reggae, reggae. I think my favorite is 75-ish, around there.
Yeah.
But I do Yellow Man and some of the more dancehall stuff that started out with the guys being DJs and or MCs. But we listen to a lot of reggae. We buy a lot of vinyl, try and go hunt a bunch of stuff. I think my favorite guy is Horace Andy still, of all time. I think Horace Andy's my favorite.
Parallel 49 Brewing is proudly the official beer of the Toddcast podcast, where craft meets character.
And at the best of times, you only get one try. So I'll get mine before the curtain falls for me to say goodbye. You gotta run, see it's been fun, before you start to lie. There's this dream of mine. Before it's over,
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Sloan is from the right coast, the east coast of Canada. They formed the same year that I graduated high school in 91, and they're one of those rare bands who have kept the same four-member lineup. That alone is wild. And yes, I do know they technically broke up, but when they came back, it was the same four guys. That still counts. Juno winners, 14 albums, over 250 songs, more than 30 hit singles. You saw their music videos everywhere on Much Music back in the day. Sloan is essential listening. Even now, you still hear them on any good rock radio station. Their singer, Patrick Pentland, was a guest, and we talked about the first time he heard his music on radio. He takes you back to what was playing in his house when he was a kid. We talked about AC/DC, David Bowie, actor Gary Oldman came up, so did Coffee and Gasoline, Aliens, Rush, seeing Maiden live. Sloan is part of who I am. A radio guy, a podcaster, a music fan. And hearing Patrick talk about radio itself was pretty cool. We touched on sports, Batman, marijuana, and the importance of music videos and Much Music at the very beginning of their career. Because without that platform, Sloan's story might be very different. Listen to this.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of bands from that era, that's how people knew them, was because Much Music was huge. It was a huge thing. And the visual aspect of that gave you more to be creative with and more to have fun with. And so, we were, we welcomed that. We were, videos and stuff are a pain in the ass in a way, but and we don't do that many of them anymore, but it was definitely an important thing. The amount of money spent on videos was crazy.
Right. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. And we would, because we were independent, we had distribution deals and stuff with major labels, but we owned all of our own stuff, and then we paid for everything. So we had to make sure that if we made a video for She Says What She Means off of Navy Blues, that's the second single. It's how much money are you going to spend on this video before it breaks even? And then how many records are we going to sell if we do this? And there was a little bit of an equation. It's at some point we're not spending that money because on another, it was all out of our pocket. So, so we would have to know we're going to sell 10 more thousand record, whatever it is, and that'll cover the cost of this video. Otherwise we're not doing it. And but whereas
you make a move, it's like a gamble,
Kinda. And yeah. Maybe that's why we're still around, but if we were signed to a major, and we have been signed to a major, and we have been given budgets even after that, when we were on Sony for Action Pack, Never Hear the End of It and stuff, Pretty Together, that, we had budgets from those people too, and they were paying for everything. So we were sort of it goes on a recoupable account, which we never had to pay off. And, that way, that's when we made Feels Good Do It and stuff, which were a little bit more high end. We worked with this guy, Noble Jones, who made hip hop videos, made it look really cool. And that's a step up, but we wouldn't have made that step up without the investment from Sony or BMG or whatever it was.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit CanadianClub.com today.
I guess I think I finally won the battle. sure who I am or what I should fear. My brain is not a friend, it is a bad enemy. I'm hiding in the shadows so I don't have to see. I know it's coming for me.
It's coming for me. Her name is Alex Little, and a new song for her. It's new to the Toddcast as well. It's called Spider in the Sink. And you're only, a few weeks away now from seeing her headline our next live show. So on Friday, April 24 at the Blue Light Studio, beautiful East Vancouver, the Toddcast podcast, Blue Light Sessions, Volume 49. That means we're officially starting up year 5 because we do them once a month. 49, of course, getting to year 5. Well, the studio is amazing, first off, but it's also the people that work there. Kai, Ferb, Kalar, everyone there, just a great team. They're super pro. So it's Alex Little, Felicia Andalong. We're going to play something from her later on in the podcast. The gist is it's 2 45-minute sets, the interview, the performance. It's very intimate. I mean, we let 60 people in for a reason, much more than that, and you can't move. It's interactive. I will do the interviewing, but if you want to ask questions, of course, you can do that as well. You can buy early right now. It's only $22 in advance through eventbrite.ca, Brite, eventbrite.ca. Search Toddcast in their search bar, and you can't miss our shows. 27 bones if you wait for the door. Doors are at 7 o'clock for our shows. The shows usually start about 8:15, something like that. I played you Armchair Cynics. That was their song called A Moment Like This. And I was back and forth with those guys about playing a podcast show maybe, 3-4 months back, but we couldn't get things lined up. Like, they're from Victoria. So it's not as easy as you would think to kind of rip over, play a show, pay for the ferry both ways. They would literally lose money to come play a show for us, right? But you never know. I never close the doors. I love the guys. I love the band. I would love to see them play for us. All right, so coming up shortly in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, Canadian beach volleyball Olympian Sarah Pavin talks about the stand-up memories from winning gold at the 2022 Commonwealth Games. That is powered by the Home Dwell Group. One of their partners is a really good buddy of mine, a guy named Kyle. We've known each other literally since elementary school. And he's been in that world like his entire life. Right out of high school, he was designing homes and buildings here in Vancouver, and he buys and sells homes too. He'll be able to tell you whether the place is worth fixing, what needs fixing, what a house is truly worth. So if you're buying or selling, talk to my good buddy Kyle through homedwell.ca, homedwell.ca. First, let's get you back to more guest highlights in our Over the Years podcast and some sporting guest visits. So you'll know Amber Nova as a pro wrestler active in the indie scene since 2016. She has wrestled for Impact Wrestling, WWE, NXT, and All Elite Wrestling. But wrestling isn't the only thing that she's known for. Follow her on social media and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's Equal Muscle Cars and her 73 Chevy Nova.
Growing up, watching my dad with, his 69 SS Nova, restoring 69 SS Chevelle, watching my dad always with these classic cars growing up when I was a kid. I was a daddy's girl. I loved the wrestling and I loved the classic cars and yeah,
that's cool. My brother used to work on a bunch of old cars like that. He had like a 67 Ford Fairlane. He had like a Malibu. He had a bunch of a Beaumont, which is basically like a Chevy Nova. You ever heard of a Beaumont?
Yeah, I think from the side, if you look at the car from the side, they look identical to a Nova almost, and then the front end is different. So is the back end.
Yeah.
My brother had a 76 Malibu. That thing was like a boat. Bright blue, and it was wide. He had that in high school.
And like, my brother just like tubbing him out and shit, like doing 10-second quarter miles and like just insane stuff. So when did you get your car? When did you get the Nova?
Let's see, I think my first car, I was 17 or 18. I got a 4-door Nova, 73 4-door Nova.
The grandma sleeper.
Engine. Yeah, and it was a little 6-cylinder engine though. Then I sold that one, and now I have the new Nova. I've had this one for 4 or 5 years. I've been working on selling the 4-door, getting the 2-door, 350, board 30 over. It's a real nice, beautiful orange. So it's my dream Nova. I finally got it.
It's too cute. She goes, I was daddy's girl. I loved wrestling. I loved the classic cars. So to the wrestling side of Amber's world, she was trained by top talents, continues to build her reputation as a rising force. So here, Amber talks about getting into wrestling as a kid, her first wrestling memory, and Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
My dad got me into watching it. I had 4 other siblings. We used to go to events when I was younger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was the first one that you went to? What's the first you remember?
I went to Savannah Civic Center because I'm from Beaufort, Hilton Head Island area, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So Savannah Civic Center. I remember I saw Rey Mysterio. I saw, Batista, Randy Orton. I was like, I think 11 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that be like your
watching
first...
on TV as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And so what would be like your first wrestling memory then?
Watching on TV growing up, Hulk Hogan, Andre. I saw just watching on TV, Bruno Sammartino, a couple of old school guys that my dad would always watch. Yeah.
Gotta love that. She goes, I had 4 other siblings. We used to go to events when I was younger. So from pro wrestler Amber Nova to a retired UFC octagon girl, Arianny Celeste, easily one of the most iconic figures in their history. She was with them for 17 years. Is that right? A 6-time World MMA Awards Ring Girl of the Year winner who, at the time of our interview, was also keeping busy with her girlfriend box business.
I just have been very focused on my new business. It's called Girlfriend Box. It's a subscription box program that women can buy themselves or guys can buy it for their girlfriends. And it's basically a date night outfit, a makeup item, a beauty product, and a lingerie or piece of, underwear or bra, panty set type thing.
Right.
So it's like you can get it every month. You can get it every 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And it kind of just depends. And it's just something really special. I've always been into fashion, and I just thought, why not get on the subscription program? Because I feel like a lot of girls don't have time to go shopping anymore. So I've just really been focused on that. I have new music coming out soon, and that's about it. I have my calendar coming out, which I do every year. That'll be out in December, as well as some new T-shirts and merchandise.
Yeah, she says, it's just something really special. I've always been into fashion. And no doubt, still to this day, Arianny continues to plug away. Outside of the UFC, you'll know her from modeling for Maxim, Playboy, Sports Illustrated, just a crushing career. So what is her career highlight?
My career highlight? I honestly think it's just like traveling the world, because I came from a very not rich family. We're all like working class family, and for me to be out of this country and see so many beautiful places and meet so many beautiful people and be able to experience that is just like so. It has been such an experience. I never thought that I'd even get out of Vegas. So that has been probably the highlight.
Yeah.
And being on the cover of Playboy was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and I read that was of the month, or maybe was it of the year, that it was the biggest selling issue of the year that you were on the cover of Playboy.
Wow.
I know, that's crazy. That is insane. She goes, I never even thought I'd get out of Vegas. Like, what? And I'll take you from a retired UFC octagon girl to a veteran NASCAR racer, Brian Obiedzenski, a fan favorite, competing in the Advanced Auto Parts weekly series and the Cars Tour from his number 29 Power Base Chevrolet Camaro. Listen to Brian talk about his first race in NASCAR.
The first time, the butterflies.
Yeah.
They put the window up, you're in there, you're strapped in, you got your equipment on. But when you start the car and you're sitting in line and they're staging you, that's when it gets real. There's no backing down there. There's amazing safety and R&D, and NASCAR does a great job of making sure that we continue to evolve the safety equipment. but there always is that chance that it could be the last time that you get in the car. You may never get out.
Yikes. He goes, but there's always that chance that it could be the last time you get into the car. Brian's like, let me just get real with you here for a sec. He's a multi-division champ, feature wins, Rookie of the Year honor, 500 sanctioned starts, which is mental. And he was cool with getting deeper than racing, like talking about his favorite bands, 311, Deftones, Corrosion of Conformity.
Favorite bands, we kind of tweeted briefly the other night. 311 is just the go-to for me, man. They are tremendous guys. It's just a number of albums. I've been to 72 shows. I know you were saying that, like, wow. They're just great. It's a positive energy. Yeah, totally. It's a positive outlook on life. And they're just normal dudes, you know. They got kids, they got families, but they know how to rock a show for sure. They've stayed original all these years. They've got their own genre almost. 311. So 311's there. I could definitely kick it with the Deftones, into the Deftones.
Great band.
We can get back into a little bit older. Out of Raleigh, North Carolina, came a band called Corrosion of Conformity.
Yes.
They're pretty awesome. So COC, they're actually on tour with Black Label right now. They're coming to Raleigh in a couple of weeks. I'll be at that one. But I've got a diverse musical taste for sure. But those are definitely a couple of the few that I enjoy the most.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
Simply put, retired Canadian beach volleyball Olympian Sarah Pavin is a legend. The career notes alone read like a highlight reel. She played college volleyball at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where she was named Most Outstanding Player in the 2006 NCAA Div 1 Women's Tournament. Honda Sports Award in 2007, Honda Broderick Cup in 2006 and 7, AVCA National Player of the Year in 2006, three-time Big 12 Player of the Year from 2005 through 07. And, academically, she has a degree in biochemistry, perfect 4.0 GPA, an absolute force. You saw Sarah represent Canada at the 2010 World Championships in Japan, then pivoted to beach volleyball. She qualified for the 2016 Summer Olympics. She and her partner won all 3 Pool E matches, then faced another Canadian team in the round of 16 and took them in straight sets. Their run ended in the quarterfinals against Germany, but that was a real taste of the Olympic stage, and more on that in just a sec. She was named to Canada's Olympic team again for Tokyo 2020, the COVID Olympics that didn't happen until 2021. And the conversation truly goes everywhere. Marvel movies and superheroes. We talked soccer, meeting Donald Sutherland, the music of the Eagles and the Beatles, growing up emo, superstitions. You really should check it out. It's on our YouTube channel right now. And back to Sarah's outstanding career: gold at the 2018 Commonwealth Games, gold at the 2019 Beach Volleyball World Championships, 4th at Huntington Beach, major hardware global podiums. And stop me if you've heard this before, Sarah talked about her standout memories from winning gold at the 2022 Commonwealth Games.
I mean, winning.
Yes, of course.
Winning always helps. It was actually my first time in the UK.
No way.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. Actually, at the closing ceremonies, Black Sabbath played, and I was like...
No, like the actual band?
Yes.
That's awesome.
They were all there.
Like Ozzy.
Ozzy Osbourne was there. He looked rough as hell, and he was like, it looked like he was gripping onto the mic stand to stop him falling over, but he was there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so all the musicians and stuff that grew up in Birmingham, they were either performing at the opening ceremony or the closing ceremony, and I thought that was amazing. Yeah. Like Duran Duran's from Birmingham. Sure. Like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And how long are you there for then, for the Commonwealth Games?
We were probably there for 2 weeks, between 2 and 3 weeks.
Okay. So a fair amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you get to check out the sites a ton, or not really?
I mean, I like hopped around like watching different sports, and then I, explored the city a little bit, like the bull ring and like the canals and things like that. There's a lot of downtime. Yeah.
That's cool. That's got to be one of the best things about what you do, hey? Is like checking out other parts of the world. And
I've been very fortunate that I've gotten to travel to a lot of countries. Through indoor, I was like living in different countries for like 9 months a year. So you really get to like get immersed in the culture. For beach volleyball, the goal is like to not be able to see anything, because then that means you're winning. If you have time to go check things out, it means you lost early. So I'm very lucky that I've gotten to see a lot of stuff.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by the HomedWell Group. Buying a house? Selling your home? Contact Kyle at homedwell.ca today.
I would do anything for you, and I have to the point that it's driving me mad. I would take you around when it was raining, but you can't even pick up a bill without complaining, and it's not like I expect you to do me a drink is such a bother. Yet you threaten to leave when I take one from another. And it's not like I'm out here trying to make you look bad, but you treat me like a stranger, then you switch up so fast. Oh, I need someone to love me the way I love you. Yeah, I need someone to love me, 'cause you know that I do care for you. But who's caring for me? I know I'm worthy, 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 worthy of someone who really loves me. Someone who loves me, someone who cares. No, I can't give to you if you don't give back to me. If I'm focused on you and you're focused on you, then who's focused on me? If you can't do right by me, then I got to be free, 'cause I'm worthy, 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 worthy of someone who really loves me. I know I'm worthy of someone who loves me.
You have got to know that next month's Toddcast Blue Light Sessions is going to be so good. That's Felicia Andalong, and she's opening up the night. Great song for her. It's called Worthy. Grab a ticket right now before they're gone. So on Friday, April 24, Blue Light Studio, it's the Toddcast Blue Light Sessions, Volume 49. Alex Little, Felicia Andalong. Again, it's the two 45-minute sets, the interview, the performance. It's a small studio. It is amazing nights. I don't want to jinx anything, but believe me, it's going to blow minds. Early bird tickets, $22 through eventbrite.ca. Eventbrite.ca. You heard a new song for The Thick of It. These are good buddies of the podcast. A cool song for them. It's called The Hard Way. They played a podcast Blue Light Sessions last year, and they were just so damned good. If you hear of them playing a show near you, believe me, make the effort to get there. Okay, so to our final guests of this episode 387, this week's entertainment and lifestyle guests. And I wanted to start you off with Angie Sanchez. Here's a certified quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner. Say that 5 times fast. Hell, say that twice fast. And past life regression hypnotist who's based out of Los Angeles. Hold on. What the heck is past life regression hypnosis?
Just what it sounds like. So I was trained under, it's called quantum healing hypnosis. It's a woman named Dolores Cannon founded the technique.
Okay.
And basically I regress a client. So a client comes and lays down and gets comfortable, and I regress them using a guided visual meditation. And they tell me what they see. What they actually see their past lives. They see what they're wearing. They see the people they're around. They see the buildings. And we go through various scenarios in that life. And then after that, and this is my favorite part of what I do, after that we contact the higher self. So the client comes in with questions that they have about their lives, or just questions in general. It could be about the universe. And we ask those questions, and the client is then literally channeling their higher self or subconscious self, whatever you want to call it. But it's pretty fascinating, some of the things that come out. And sometimes the questions get answered before I even ask them, which to me is like, whoa, okay. Every time I do a session, it's always like 1 inch just getting deeper and deeper and deeper in this unbelievable conscious state that we can tap into. So that's pretty much what I do. I mean, that's the gist of it.
Oh, that is deep. She goes, and then the client is then literally channeling their higher self or subconscious self. I know that there will be a lot of people who don't buy into this, but Angie swears that she guides her clients through deep transformational work that uncovers subconscious insight, encourages self-discovery. Listen to the full interview. You'll hear that she believes in mindfulness and intuition, inner truth. And is it true that not everyone can be hypnotized?
I've heard that also. I haven't had a problem with my clients so far. I do hear, from what I understand, you can't work with people that are under the influence or that have Alzheimer's or any sort of dementia, any sort of those kinds of, they're just not present. They're not able to access that state. But I think that's pretty much it. I think everyone else can do it. I think people can access it. Now, I have had clients that don't necessarily go to a past life. They may go to their childhood, and they see themselves as a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and there's some closure that they need. There's some healing that's happening that I don't even know, that their subconscious just kind of takes care of the motion. So I wouldn't say it's always a past life. It could be that they go. I had one client who connected to Jesus Christ, and that was her whole session. There was just so much emotion, and there was a lot of healing that happened. So it's really tapping into different realms, I want to say. Like, it's like time traveling.
I think I've heard the same thing. She goes, from what I understand, you can't work with people who are under the influence. So maybe they can't be. Maybe that's what it is. So from a quantum healing hypnotist to an award-winning Canadian broadcaster, host, media strategist with 25 years on national TV, Dawn Chubai, who is now an entrepreneur in today's media landscape.
Well, and to that point of the Wild West, right? Like, CRTC is not, it's different, right? You don't have the same restrictions. You also don't have the same security, when you're an entrepreneur. But, if you're hungry, if you're driven, if you have something that other people don't have, or you can, amplify in a way that maybe they wouldn't have the opportunity in traditional broadcast. I think there's lots of work for everyone, to your point of some of the stuff you're doing. I kind of do that for other people as well. There's room for both of us because we both bring different talent. And then when I bring kind of my live selling and live, shopping experience into my newest incarnation, which is live selling school, to teach people not only on camera confidence and all of that, but how do you sell through the screen, right? So yeah, there's lots to talk about, and lots of opportunities for people that want them. That's what I think anyway. And it's nice. Listen, it's nice to have a husband who has a good job, so I can sort of pursue this and not worry as much. But at the same time, I'm driven, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm somebody who is dependent, and it's nice to sort of have that freedom to sort of play this out and see where it goes.
Yes, well said. She goes, if you're hungry, if you're driven, if you have something that other people don't have. Back in the day, Dawn was part of Vancouver's breakfast television, Cityline, and today's Shopping Choice. She's a trusted MC, media trainer, live stream expert, and like me, she finds inspiration from other creatives.
It's funny when you talk about that, because we do get, as creators, inspiration from many different forms. And I also look at, back in the day when I was working on breakfast television in Vancouver. And again, this is, keep in mind, I was with BT Vancouver for 13 years and only gone from it in the last, 7 or so. What did I move? Yeah, 2017, I think I kind of wrapped my last show. But, I was doing live eyes at the SPCA and, came up with this idea of, hey, maybe we should do like a BT Pet of the Week. And obviously, as all the media stations, there's just no resources, right? They're not going to send a camera to do it like a once a week, little highlight on animals and this and that. And so I took my camcorder, because I did go buy one, because I had one obviously needed for my media training. Although, let me tell you, as creators, just so you know, this works just as good as anything.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, and better in most cases because it's handy. But I would sit there and I would record, the animal I wanted to feature. I would interview Kim Monteith, who was with SPCA. And then I would edit it together on iMovie, and I didn't even appear on camera. It was literally this little thing I put together, and it would air on BT. And I did that based on sort of, watching like Global, for instance, who would often have, their SPCA segments, or watching something that we would see on maybe some of the American channels. And so the inspiration just even to become a creator came from sort of all of that, but then also what we were seeing in social media, which, let's not forget, it was still kind of new. right? Still kind of new back then. And to see how that can translate into something that could be somewhat more mainstream, something that could be inspiring, even for a professional TV person. Can you imagine the amount of hours I'd be spending and the amount of time I'm sure you've done as well, Todd, where you're doing something because it's a passion project and you get to kind of work through the bugs of how to edit on iMovie and how to film and get good composition and make sure you got enough headroom and this and that, and all the things you learn through osmosis through working with such talented people as you have, and definitely I did working on breakfast television, you know, and then to realize, gosh, like that all made me a better creator. Was it the broadcasting? Maybe, sure, of course, but it was actually the access to information, whether it was on YouTube, TV, or people that were professionals and experts in their field, and then me fake my way through it and then turn it into a job.
I'm such a fan of what Dawn does. She goes, we do get, as creators, inspiration from many different forms. So from one of Vancouver's best broadcasters to a TV personality and cultural icon, Ed the Sock. If you grew up in the 90s, you would literally have to be living under a rock to not know who that is. Green hair, cigar-smoking sock puppet, a VJ on Much Music, and host of the long-running late-night talk show Ed's Night Party. So what is it that got Ed out of retirement?
Have you looked around and seen the world? The place is a freaking mess. It's like the aftermath of a frat party in an 80s teen comedy.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything's a mess.
Yeah.
Literally means figuratively, and ignorance isn't bliss. It's a voting block. People are concerned about what bathroom somebody goes to. It's insane. Nobody is speaking truth for common sense, for common people. You got lunatics on the right, you got lunatics on the left. Basically, it's stupidity in stereo, and we're stuck in the middle. There's nobody there. The silent majority, the problem with being part of the silent majority is that you're frickin' silent. I am the voice for the silent majority. I've always said what people are thinking, but I say it out loud. And now I'm coming back to stand up for intelligent people who can't stand being overwhelmed by this wave of gleeful stupidity which has overtaken North American culture.
Right, he goes, have you had a look around and seen the world? This place is a freaking mess. Well said. And since our chat, which was years ago now, it has gotten worse somehow. You'll know that Ed was known for his humor, celebrity interviews, his sharp social commentary. His influence runs deep. Listen to Ed talking about his career highlights.
You know, it's really difficult. That's such a difficult term. I've been around since 1987.
Right.
I left Much Music. I started on Much Music in City TV in 1994, left in 2008. That's a lot of time and a lot of highlights and a lot of lowlights. So trying to think of what did I enjoy the most, it's pretty difficult to figure out what I liked the most. It's easier to figure out the people I liked the least, but mostly I didn't pay that much attention. It was just a job. I went in, I did my shtick, I went the hell home.
Yeah, fair enough.
But highlights, I really liked being at Woodstock 99.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Because I was live on the air. I was the person, and this was noted in the media, I was the person who first said, this is about to go straight to hell. And it did. And I was the one who predicted it, which, you know, that's sort of odd notoriety. But I watched that for 3 days in blistering heat in a venue that was an old military base, so it had no shade, no place people could skulk in the shadows, and people were charging $10 for small bottles of water. I knew this was about to boil over.
Yeah.
And that afternoon, when they started knocking over the outhouses and body surfing in the crap, I knew this was Lord of the Flies. And so being a part of something that's actually unfolding in front of you historically, that was great fun. But generally, just being on Much Music, being on a place where they let me say whatever I wanted. Nobody spoke to me beforehand saying, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to say about this? Nobody ever asked me. No one told me not to talk about something. No one gave me hell after. Well, maybe they gave me hell after, but it didn't really matter because going forward, there was no rules. They respected me enough to let me do what I wanted to do, say what I wanted to say, and they allowed the other VJs of my generation to be who they were. They hired people who they knew, who they trusted, whose personalities they liked, and said, go do your thing. And this is the thing that's gone missing in those last 10 years. Mm-hmm. As more and more people, media figures and politicians, became very tightly controlled about what they were saying or allowed to say. This is why people around the world are starting to cotton to the appeal of an idiot like Trump, because Trump says what he means and means what he says. So I think people are attracted to that as opposed to the crap that comes out of his mouth. My job is to come back and do what I always did, which was say what I mean and mean what I say, but do it with some frickin' brains.
The Toddcast Podcast. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and at toddhancock.ca.
Song, and I love the band. They are called Cloudsick. Crutch, easily one of my favorite Vancouver bands of the last couple of years. You know, I haven't heard too much coming out of their camp as of late, but maybe, just maybe, that means they're quietly working away on new music. Wouldn't that be nice? As we inch closer to closing out this Toddcast, a big thanks to all of this week's guests. We're going back over the years. You know, some of this week's guests were originally guests 5, 6, 8 years ago. Cool to shine the spotlight back on them after all of these years. You know, it's hard to believe that we're into year 12 of the Toddcast when I thought that this might go a year. So thank you for being there. Episode 387 is now complete. Once again, my name is Todd Hancock. If you're a regular listener, please tell your friends about us. Help us grow. If you're new to the podcast, awesome. Appreciate you coming by and checking us out. Please come back again. We are part of the Realm.fm network. If you want to check out more fiction and nonfiction podcasts, huge network, Realm.fm. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. You want to check all of the videos that we do. Of course, we have a YouTube channel for that. Comment and rate. It's a big way of how we get to the top of those search results, right? So search us out through Toddcast podcast and then comment and rate the podcast. Huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. Find links to all of their websites at toddhancock.ca. And if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you know you could for as little as $10 a day, right? It's not that bad. If you help us find a sponsor, this always applies as well. We'll give you a commission. We'll literally pay you if you help us find a sponsor, right? I don't see anybody else doing that. Till next time, don't be an asshole, because nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate.
We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Oh, please, not that music. That music gives me nightmares from my childhood.
Could we get something a little bit lighter, some lighter music here?
Are you a fan of true crime TV shows?
And what about Unsolved Mysteries, the show that jump-started all of our love of true crime?
I'm Ellen Marsh.
And I'm Joey Taranto.
And we host I Think Not, a true crime comedy podcast covering some of the wildest stories from your favorite true crime campy TV shows all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Baby, you will laugh, you will cry, you'll think about true crime in a whole new way, and you'll also ask yourself, who gave these people mics?
New episodes of I Think Not are released every Wednesday with bonus episodes out every Thursday on Patreon.
And every Monday, you can listen to our True Crime Rundown, where we go over the top true crime headlines of the week.
So come and join us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Reality TV is messy.
Pop culture is louder than ever.
And the internet
completely unhinged.
Welcome to Roxanne
and Chantel,
the podcast where cousins Roxanne and Chantel break down reality TV, celebrity drama, and the stories everyone's texting about.
We recap the shows,
spill the headlines,
and sit down with the stars themselves.
No filter,
no boring takes,
just the tea.
New episodes every week.
If it's trending,
we're talking about it.
This is Roxanne
and Chantel.
Let's get into it.